Hello, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond. My name is Taylor, and welcome to Dice Assassin, the brand new action roguelike deck builder, just released on Steam and most other platforms as far as I'm aware. Now, full disclosure, this game was developed and published by Aphil Games, and they have provided me with a review code, so I did not pay for the game. I will not let that affect my review, nor my opinions on the game. So the game did release on April 25th, 2024, and retails for $3.99 Canadian. Yes, $3.99, or your original equivalent. I would assume that's like $3.50 US or something like that. But it is a much smaller title, and I'll admit an interesting one. So you might be wondering, what on earth is Dice Assassin? I was kind of wondering the same thing when I signed up for it, but as I mentioned, this is a turn-based action roguelike deck builder, meaning that you use cards that you collect to supplement your attack deck, and you use those attacks on a checkerboard style environment where you can either move up to an enemy or move past an enemy in order to attack them. Here's the thing though, on your turn, you get two dice rolls, one in blue for your range and one in red for your attack, meaning that every turn you will have a random range and attack power, for you to work with. Now, to start out with, those do both start at between 1 and 3. So you can get a range of 1, 2, or 3, and a power of 1, 2, or 3. Now, as you go through the game, you fight enemies in a very strange order. This game, to me, strikes me as more of like a puzzle game than anything, because the enemies' attacks are all telegraphed. And you start to learn, okay, this enemy is going to move before this one, and you can start manipulating them to kind of move where you want them to. For example, a bat will always move 1 square towards you. A frog always has to move 2 squares, whereas the rats always move in a diagonal pattern. And the enemies cannot occupy the same space. So there were times when I knew the bat could occupy the space next to me so that the frog couldn't get there, and I knew the frog would do more damage. So I lured the bat in, the frog couldn't therefore get to me, and I could kill the bat and then deal with the frog. So it was really interesting to kind of, see that develop throughout the game and, really start understanding what is going on here, because it's kind of confusing at first. It does do a good job of tutorializing it, unlike some other games, which is really nice, but some of the things you kind of got to learn on the fly. Now, you do get, I think it's 5 or 6 hit points, and then some enemies are going to do more damage, others are going to do, a single point, but the idea is your health carries on between each floor. Now, you can get lucky and encounter a shop. I couldn't tell if these were at fixed locations or semi-random. I think they were fixed. And shops let you buy up to 4 items depending on how much gold you have. So those items can include attack cards. If you've defeated bosses, you can get extra numbers on your dice, whether that be range or attack. You can get item cards, which I'll get to in just a second. And you can even buy just, a 1 heart heal. Now, the item cards are interesting because these don't actually take up your turn, but they can be used for a variety of different things depending on what items you get. Some will give you more health, some will give you a temporary buff, some will just give you more coins. And it was interesting to see kind of what was offered and how it might change your strategy for every floor. Now, by far the biggest, kind of key factor in this is going to be the boss attacks. Because as you defeat each boss, you will gain a new attack that you can buy and then have in your permanent rotation. You will have to buy it every time you do a new run, but these attacks are really interesting because they work in very different ways. For example, your first, regular attack will move you in whatever direction you're facing, the number of squares that you roll for your movement. Whereas the first boss attack you get attacks in the 4 cardinal directions, so, in front, up top, below, and on either side, but does not move your character. So you can really strategize and figure out, okay, if I don't want to move, but I still want to hit enemies on either side of me, I'll use this attack. Or if I want to move out of the way, I'll use my regular attack. Or you can be like me, forget that you have the double slash, like the one that doesn't move you equipped, hit it, and then wonder, oh no, why didn't I move? And then get, absolutely bodied by 3 enemies at the same time. So, that's fun. At the time of this recording, I have only played about 50 minutes, 50, just under an hour. But, as I'm sure you've realized, it's not an expensive game. And I have only beaten up to the second boss, because I'm still trying to figure out their gimmick, and I had a lot on my plate right now, so I haven't had too much time to sink into the game, but honestly, I think I'd go back to it. I think I will, at some point, go back, you know, beat every boss. I think there's about 5 or 6 of them based on the unlocks that I'd seen in the vault, because I'm curious to see what exactly they did with this system, because a lot of time and care has gone into this game and gone into figuring out, okay, what do we want each enemy to do, what do we want each boss to do, and how can we make sure those all work together? Especially as you kind of move to a different, I don't want to say environment or biome because it's always still that checkerboard, but you run into a different assortment of enemies with each boss encounter that you finished up. So I encountered different enemies after the first boss, different enemies after the second boss, all with growing complexity. Now, I am terrible at puzzle games. I'm not a big roguelike kind of person. I can't sink thousands of hours doing millions of runs just trying to get that one great one. But this one felt to me like just that right balance of casual, pick it up, play it for legitimately 3 or 5 minutes, and put it down if you want. But you can still have a fun time during that run. You can still have a fun, kind of casual go about it. So I would absolutely recommend that people check this game out. You know, pick it up, play it for a bit, and then put it down. Maybe you forget about it, maybe you don't. I don't think you'll regret it. I don't know about the naming scheme of Dice Assassin per se. It did feel a little weird. And I kind of think they're trying to market off of like the Assassin's Creed logo, which is fine. I don't really mind that too much. With all that being said, thank you, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond, so much for being here. This was a quick little review because it's a quick little game, but I did promise I'd get it out. I'm happy to do it, and I'm happy I played this. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you're interested in trying out Dice Assassin, if you've heard about Dice Assassin. But all in all, again, I had fun with the game. Thank you again to AFO Games for giving me a code, really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.